When you're walking through a season of loss and grief, and you're thinking about your future, it can feel daunting. Um, you know, I talked in a previous video, I think I've mentioned it a couple of times, about feeling like when I think about the future or the year ahead, I feel like it's this giant, big, blank piece of paper. And while in my mind, I know that I can put anything on there. I'm retired. Um, my husband's gone. Kids are grown. I'm healthy and fairly strong. So, other than income limitations, I could pretty much do what I want. I have choices where I might want to live. Um, but the problem is, I couldn't think of a single thing that I wanted to put on that paper because we'd already made our plans. We were retired together, and everything that I wanted to do was tied to us. And so I struggled with that. It was a hard stepping into the new year. So I thought today, I've had the last month to kind of think about some things and figure out some strategies for moving into the new year and moving forward. And so I thought I would share those with you. So if you're brand new here, welcome. I'm Patty, and I lost my husband 5 months ago now. And so that's where I am currently in life. But if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you're still here with me, and I appreciate you. So moving into a new year, you know, I've been doing a lot of things, working through, trying to keep moving forward, but it's still a lot of sitting and thinking. And I'm doing other things in between. I'm moving. I'm taking care of myself. But I recognized if I didn't start getting some things, something, this year was just going to slip by me. So I started with my calendar. Probably way more. I've always loved this calendar, way more than I need right now. But it's a place for me to document. So I started by filling in all the birthdays and the anniversaries and all the things I didn't want to miss this year. And with that, recognizing that I have almost a whole year of firsts without him ahead of me. And so I know that it's going to be a challenging year, and I know that I have to have a realistic and achievable roadmap to keep me on track. I can't go crazy and start setting pie in the sky goals, or I'm gonna feel like I'm failing. But I sat down and I started jotting down notes, and some of them were things that I'd already knew that I wanted to do. They were already on my radar for this winter, and I started thinking about what are the most important things right now. And so I came up with home and relationships, creative pursuits, and health and wellness. And so, I had a lot of scribbles on a piece of paper, and I started kind of organizing them into categories and little achievable things in those areas. And so this is my little doodle. So my blank paper now for this year has me walking with Jesus, but I've got a cloud of grief over my head with a plan to rest, remember, and reflect as I move forward. So I set some just in those four, I chose 4 areas. And I thought of some other areas that I just felt like I wasn't ready. And so I thought this is a great place to start. So for me, relationships, I've become infinitely more sensitive to the importance of relationships and pouring into them and not taking them for granted, not neglecting them. And so I chose four areas. So I have my relationship with the Lord and ways to pour into that relationship, Bible time, prayer. I still have my relationship with Joe. And while he's not here, I'm navigating my loss, right? He's still a part of me. And I'm finding ways to deal with that loss and to also carry him forward with me. And so that's still a relationship that I'm an active participant in. And then there's my family. And so this last, while we kind of were selfishly guarding our time. And so we weren't pouring as much into family relationships in those 15 months after we retired. And so for me, that's super important. My family is walking through grief just as I am. And so, for my family, it's staying in touch, being present with the ones I'm with the ones I'm not, keeping in touch with letters and texts and phone calls, and we have a family chat. And then projects, working on family history, photo journals and scrapbooks and things to bring the past forward. We are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries of those that have gone before and using that as a springboard to share their stories with a new generation. And then 4th is friendships. Friends are another one that really just kind of fell off my radar. We retired very quickly and made a big move, and again, selfishly guarding our time. So for me, it's those friendships that have weathered that neglect. That's how you know. That's how you know the keepers. You know, the ones that stick by you and stick through your hard seasons. But you know, pouring into those friendships with um, phone calls, time spent, cards, letters, all the things. So relationships, that's an area that's very important to me that I want to pour into. And then health and wellness. If anything, this has shown me like the last thing I want to do is put my family through, um, by me not taking care of myself, put them through more turmoil. So getting myself back on track with diet and exercise, you know, having you know, drinking the water. And I have on my fridge, I have a note: eat for purpose mostly, for pleasure occasionally. I do have, I struggle with inflammation, and so I do better when I am mindful about what I'm eating. And then the more I learn about what grief does to your brain and your body, and what inflammation in general does to your, I don't want to go there. And so I'm kind of following Mediterranean / mind diet is loosely. But really trying to be very mindful of what is going into my body, making sure I'm getting adequate rest, and moving every day, walking, um, moving, just moving. I try to get up and down on days that that I want to just sit. I try to get up and down in between times and move. And then also personal growth, ways to move forward, um, learning new things, reading books, but also reading, you know, under the category of rest, reading books for pleasure, taking that time to just sit. Um, I've spent the majority of my adult life, and I think we all do, busy mode, right? You're always busy. You're always moving, even when like I couldn't just sit and watch a movie. I couldn't just hang out on the couch. I always had to be working on something. And so I'm now in a season, and I'm learning to just rest without doing, to just sit, ponder life, reflect, remember, or read a book in the daytime when I'm not falling asleep. Um, so health and wellness, creative pursuits, um, this YouTube channel. This was something my husband and I started. Um, one video in, he was no longer with me. And so, and with that, right, it's keeping me thinking, being creative, learning new skills. I want to improve. I want to, you know, be able to do more things with it. And then secondly, my daughter and I do a podcast / YouTube channel together. And so staying engaged with that, with the topics that we talk about over there. So that's another way to be creative, thinking about things, all these different facets. So that's the Rustic Girls. So and then thirdly is, you know, I've got some projects that I brought along with me when we set out on travel, and finishing those projects if they still speak to me. If they don't, they're getting the boot. But also trying new creative channels. And then of course working on that, the family photo and scrapbooks and photo journals and those things. So, you know, I'm at a time in my life when I can experiment and try new things. So, and I think creativity is so good for, it's good for you no matter when, but it's very good when you're in a healing and a restorative season of life. And then of course home, and that's that's what it is, right? It's the care and keeping of my space, and simplifying, and adjusting to it being just me, new routines, and also maintenance and upkeep of the home and our vehicle. So that means learning new stuff. Thank you, YouTube. And then finances, staying on top of budgeting and taking on the big rocks, the big stuff that my husband took care of, the stuff that I really didn't have any clue about. So again, learning and growing. So again, this is what I've kind of a little bit of a roadmap, and I just tried to have a little fun with it, to kind of make it clear and keep me focused, because I have the days when I think, oh, I should be doing this, and this. I'll stop shoulding myself. Stop shoulding pudding. It keeps me on track, and these are, I think they're really key areas that, as I've been working on them, I can tell that they're moving me forward. I still have my days of hard grief when it just hits me hard, but I'm grateful that I am in a season where I can, at this point in time, I can just focus on getting myself moving forward. And if you hear that, if I sound a little muffled, I apologize. My I think my mic crapped out on me. It was not wanting to connect up, so we're winging it without a mic tonight. But any hoodles, my other light just popped on. I hope that this was helpful, and maybe it inspired you in some small way. If it has, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you think of someone, if someone comes to mind that they're walking through a hard season, and you think that this might be a help, I'd be so honored if you shared it. I shared, some of my specifics, but, this was just for me, right? But maybe it'll inspire someone. Keep it simple. Don't overload yourself. You don't have to conquer everything. Give yourself grace. I have to tell myself that every day. There's days when I feel like I did nothing today, and that's not true. I got up, I walked. My cat makes sure I walk every day. I got up, I moved, I drank water, I was thoughtful about my food choices. And by the way, I didn't really mention it, but I do allow myself, I've set some parameters of what I am allowing myself for cheat days. You know, I'm limiting alcohol. I'm allowing, you know, because we all have those days that we, even though we know it's so bad for us and it doesn't make us feel good afterwards, but we want fast food or donuts. So, you know, I'm allowing myself that, but I'm limiting it. I don't get to just have it all the time. So it makes me be thoughtful about when I do it. It's a little sidebar. Little asterisk. I can never say that word. Got myself way off track, didn't I? Anyway, it's just give yourself grace. When you have a day that you feel like you don't accomplish anything, that's okay. It really is. It's okay to just sit. I firmly believe one of the things that has really helped me a lot is just being still, and just letting my mind process. It's a lot. It's a lot to adjust your brain. That your entire life has been upturned. So again, I hope this was helpful. I'm so thankful that you're here, and have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, remember to smile.